When Ethan Miller moved into his new apartment, he thought he had finally found peace. A quiet fourth-floor flat, away from the noise of downtown London, the perfect spot to focus on his writing and start fresh. The landlord, Mr. Collins, had said during the handover, "You're lucky, Ethan. The fifth floor above you is empty, still under renovation. You'll have complete silence." It sounded ideal. But that promise didn't last even one night. The knock at 2:47 a.m. Ethan woke up to a faint, rhythmic sound. Tap, tap, tap. It wasn't loud, but it was steady, too steady to ignore. He sat up, blinking into the dark. The sound was coming from above him. He stared at the ceiling. Tap, 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 then it stopped. Total silence. He waited, heart thudding, but the sound didn't return. He convinced himself it was just the pipes or the old wood expanding. "Old buildings," he whispered. "They make noise." He went back to sleep. But deep inside, a quiet unease had already settled in. The neighbor. The next morning, while making coffee, Ethan heard someone humming outside. He stepped onto his small balcony and saw a woman on the next one, watering her plants. "Oh, hi there," she said with a smile. "You must be the new tenant. I'm Emma, apartment 403. Hey, yeah, just moved in yesterday," Ethan replied. "Welcome to Lakeview Residences," she said cheerfully. "It's a lovely place, though it gets a bit strange at night." Ethan frowned. "Strange how?" Emma hesitated, then shrugged lightly. "Nothing serious, just noises. The walls here have memories." She smiled politely and went inside. Ethan laughed it off, but the words, "strange at night," stuck with him. The video call that evening, Ethan called his friend Ryan on video chat. "Mate, the new place is perfect," Ethan said. "Quiet, bright, and cheap for London. Can't complain." "Let's see it then." Ryan grinned. Ethan turned his camera around to show the living room and balcony. Sunlight poured in through the white curtains. Everything looked peaceful. They talked for a while, then hung up. Later that night, Ethan replayed a short clip of their call. Something caught his eye. In one frame right behind him, the curtain moved. Not gently, but like someone had grabbed it from behind. For a brief second, a pale hand appeared, gripping the edge of the curtain. Then it was gone. Ethan froze. He replayed it, again and again. There was no doubt. A human hand had been there, but how? He lived on the fourth floor and the balcony was sealed. No ladders, no fire escape. No way up. He pulled the curtain open and nothing. Just the quiet city, the dim streetlights, and the sound of distant cars. The whisper. That night at 2:47 a.m., the knocking returned. Same rhythm, same spot. But this time there was something new, a faint whisper. It was so soft it could have been the wind, except for one word that was clear enough to freeze his blood. "Leave." Ethan sat up straight, heart hammering. "Hello?" he whispered. The sound stopped. Then came 3 slow knocks in reply. Knock, knock, knock. The landlord the next morning. Ethan called Mr. Collins. "Hey, Mr. Collins, are you sure no one lives on the 5th floor?" "Completely sure," Collins replied. "That flat's been empty for years." "Then someone's up there," Ethan said. "I heard knocking." "And, Ethan, relax," Collins interrupted. "It's an old building. The plumbing, the heating, they all make strange noises." The call ended quickly. Too quickly. Something in the landlord's tone didn't sit right with him. He wasn't just dismissing the problem, he sounded nervous. The recording that night, Ethan decided to record the sound. He placed his phone on the desk, camera pointed toward the ceiling, and waited. 30 a.m. Nothing. 2:45. Silence. Then 2:47 a.m. The knocking began again, louder, sharper, and something else followed. A long, slow scraping sound like nails dragging across the wall. Ethan's breath hitched. He whispered, "Who's there?" No answer. Just another slow, deliberate scrape. Then the curtain began to move. Not flapping, but lifting, as if an invisible hand was pulling it aside. He froze. His pulse thundered in his ears, and then a whisper right next to him. A voice low and cold. "Why did you move here?" Ethan spun around. Nothing, but his phone kept recording. and when he replayed it later, the voice was there, clear as day. Part 2. The Apartment. Above. The next morning, Ethan woke up with heavy eyes. He hadn't slept. Every time he closed his eyes, he heard that voice again. "Why did you move here?" He played the recording once more. The whisper was crystal clear. He uploaded it to his laptop, amplified it, and listened carefully with headphones. When he slowed the audio down, something new appeared in the background. A faint echo of a woman crying. Not loud. Not hysterical, just hopeless. The visit to the 5th floor that afternoon, Ethan decided to go upstairs. The 5th floor was supposed to be vacant, but curiosity had become stronger than fear. The elevator doors opened with a long creak. The hallway smelled old, a mixture of dust, metal, and damp plaster. Every step echoed, as if the walls were hollow. Apartment 502 was directly above his own. Its door was sealed with a rusty chain and a faded under-renovation sign. Ethan bent closer. The keyhole was stuffed with tissue paper, and the wood had scratch marks around it, deep ones like someone had tried to claw their way out. He whispered, "Hello?" "Is anyone in there?" No reply, but from inside a soft thud answered, like something fell on the floor. Ethan stumbled back, pulse racing. He could swear he also heard a breath. Slow. Deep. Just beyond the door. Emma's warning back downstairs, Ethan knocked on Emma's door. She opened it instantly like she'd been expecting him. "You went upstairs, didn't you?" she asked. Ethan froze. "How did you know?" Emma sighed, stepping aside to let him in. Her apartment smelled of chamomile and old books. "Because everyone who hears the knocking tries to go up there." Ethan frowned. "Everyone?" "You mean, yes," she said. "You're not the first tenant in 401, you're the 5th. Ethan's stomach dropped. "What happened to the others?" "They all moved out," Emma said quietly. "Some within days. One man vanished completely." She sat on the sofa and took a deep breath. "There used to be a woman living in 502. Her name was Clara Morgan." She was quiet, a teacher. One night her neighbors heard screaming. The police came, broke the door, and found her hanging from the ceiling fan. The time of death was 2:47 a.m. Ethan's blood ran cold. 2:47. The exact time he'd been hearing the knocking. The hidden room. That night, Ethan couldn't sit still. He rewatched the video recording again and noticed something he hadn't before. When the curtain moved, there was a faint reflection in the window, a dark shape standing behind him, facing the balcony door. He paused the video frame. The figure was tall, with long hair hanging over its face. And on the glass, a handprint appeared. 5 long, stretched fingers, almost skeletal. Ethan turned to the curtain in real life. The handprint was still there, faint but visible, as if pressed from the inside. He ran his fingers over the glass. It was ice cold. The note. The next morning, Ethan found a folded piece of paper slipped under his door. It was yellowed, torn at the edges. On it, in shaky handwriting, were the words, "Stop recording her." "She hates being watched," Ethan's breath caught. There was no signature. He ran across the hallway and knocked on Emma's door. No answer. He knocked again, louder this time. Still nothing. Her apartment was completely silent. He leaned down to peek under her door. The lights were off, but a shadow moved inside. Slowly, from one wall to another, someone, or something, was inside Emma's flat. The call-a-thon dialed Mr. Collins. "Mr. Collins, I need to know what happened in this building," he said, voice shaking. Ethan, calm down. "No! There's something wrong here. You never told me about Clara Morgan." There was a long silence. Then the landlord said quietly, "You shouldn't have gone upstairs." The call disconnected. Ethan tried calling again. No answer. He threw his phone on the couch and sat down, hands trembling. For the first time, he realized he wasn't just dealing with noises. He was being watched. The blackout that night at 2:30 a.m., the power went out. The entire building went dark. Ethan lit a candle and sat by the desk, his phone recording again. He whispered to himself, If you're real, show yourself. For a moment, there was nothing but silence. Then, the knocking began again. But this time, it wasn't above. It was coming from inside his closet. He turned slowly. The candlelight flickered. The wooden closet door trembled slightly. Knock, knock, knock. Ethan stood up, shaking. He took one slow step forward and opened the door. Empty. Only his clothes swayed slightly, like something had brushed past them. And then from behind him a cold whisper. "You shouldn't have opened it." The candle went out. The next morning when Ethan woke up, the sun was shining again. For a moment he thought it had been a nightmare. But then he saw it. A message scratched into the wall beside his bed. 5 words, carved deep into the plaster. "Don't go upstairs again." Part 3. Clara's diary. Ethan returned to the 5th floor in daylight. The door to apartment 502 hung open, the air thick with dust and the faint scent of lavender. On the table lay a small leather diary marked CM, Clara Morgan. Inside, her final entry read, "She knocks because she wants to be seen. If anyone finds this, don't look in the mirror at 2:47 a.m. A chill ran through him. He turned toward the cracked mirror on the wall and saw his reflection, plus another face beside him, pale, smiling, whispering his name. The mirror shattered. When the landlord entered days later, Ethan was gone. Only the diary remained, its last page rewritten in new ink. "He looked at me,"